Allahabad High Court recently observed that a married man's live-in relationship is not an offence and that social morality cannot override court's duty to protect citizens' rights. A division bench of Justice J.J. Munir and Justice Tarun Saxena was hearing a plea seeking protection of a live-in couple facing threats from the woman's family. The counsel for the woman's family argued that since the man is already married, it is an offence for him to stay with another woman. However, the court remarked that law has to be kept separate from social morality. The court noted that the woman has already submitted an application to the Superintendent of Police of Shahjahanpur, stating that she is an adult and staying of her free will with a man in a live-in relationship. Further, the court restrained the woman's family from causing any harm to the couple. They've also been restrained from entering their home or contacting them either directly or indirectly. The court also said that the Superintendent of Police of Shahjahanpur shall be personally responsible for the couple's safety and security. So this, viewers, is of course a big development, very different and perhaps a little interesting because the court has of course observed that morality should not really be the question when it comes to such decisions. And of course we are telling you that the Allahabad High Court has recently observed that a married man's live-in relationship is not an offence. Sambhav Sharma is joining me with more details. Sambhav, this is a rather interesting and, may I say, a little bit of an unconventional ruling that's come out. What would you like to say?
Well, here it's a division bench of the Court of Justice J.J. Munir and Justice Tarun Saxena, and which was, the bench, this particular bench was hearing this particular petition seeking protection for live-in couple facing threats from woman's family. And here the Allahabad High Court has observed that the married men in live-in relationships is not an offence and that the social morality cannot override court's duty to protect citizens' rights. This particular case is Anamika and others versus the state of Uttar Pradesh and others. And here the counsel who appeared for a woman's family argued that since the man is already married, it is an offence for him to stay with another woman, and but the court remarked that law has to be kept separate from social morality. And what the bench has said, the two-judge bench of the Allahabad High Court has said that there is no offence of the kind where a married man staying with an adult in a live-in relationship by consent of the other person can be prosecuted for any offence whatsoever. And also the bench has added that the morality and law have to be kept apart. And if there is no offence under the law made out, this is what the Allahabad High Court has said, and if there is no offence under the law made out, social opinion and morality will not guide the action of the court for protecting the rights of
Sambhav, stay on with me. I have Brinda Rege. She's a women rights activist. Brinda, this is, I was telling our viewers that this is a rather interesting and, may I say, a little bit of an unconventional ruling coming out of the court. What would you like to say on it?
Yes, it is unconventional, but earlier also the court had ruled that adultery is not a crime. Now that said, a married person having an affair, married person living with somebody else is not a crime, is something that the court has now reiterated, which also means will the same law, rule, order, judgment also hold good for women? Because in a patriarchal country like us, most often women are saddled with a husband who might be having affairs, who might have remarried, and who might even be living with somebody else. And there's nothing that the married woman can do, because we continuously keep saying that women who are married are good women. These are women who will go to heaven, and these women have no other standing if the husband leaves them. And this is ingrained and conditioned and internalized. So that said, this ruling, though unconventional, is now going to be a great hit, big hit for a lot of women who are struggling even to get maintenance from husbands who might leave them and go away, who separate from them legally, and that the courts are unable to even hold those husbands accountable to give that maintenance. In such a situation, what should the wife do when the husband gets into these kind of affairs and extramarital relationships and things like that? While the court might rule this, they have not done anything much in family court, because no husband is ever forced or penalized if they don't pay maintenance. So these are questions the court and the judges must also ask, saying, when we pass a judgment of this nature, how are we troubling or putting the woman who's married in any kind of a challenging situation, especially when she also has children, she may not be working outside. So while it might be unconventional, while it might be liberal, while it may uphold constitutional morality, we need to ask in a country like ours, what will married women do who are not independent economically?
That's a pertinent point, Brindan. This is an interesting, of course, ruling because